7 political parties, 21 voluntary groups, 33 independent candidates, all vying to be councillors to represent their constituencies. Let's get local on NCN, hear what their plans are for you. Let's Get Local, Mondays and Fridays at 20 hours 5 on NCN television and a rebroadcast on the Voice of Guyana 102.5 on Wednesdays and Fridays at 21 hours on NCN radio.
The mornings just aren't the same without Guyana Today. Weekdays on NCN at 7 hours.
Sports on Tuesday has got you covered. The NTN Sport team slows it down to give you a panoramic view of our athletes, administrators, and policies that affect sports in our country. From features to rules of the game, highlights, and in-depth discussions. So join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on NCN, where we make sport our business.
Hello viewers, welcome to Let's Get Local 2018. It's the third in a series of local government programs counting down to E-Day on November 12, 2018. I'm your moderator, Mia Ricci, inviting you to stay with us for the next 50 minutes. There will be a rebroadcast of this program on NCN Radio, the Voice of Guyana 102.5 and 97.1 on the FM band and 560 on the AM band. Invitations were extended to the major political parties and other groups contesting LGE 2018. Thank you for joining us. I'll now take pleasure in introducing our guests. In this segment, we have first-time contenders, and with us in studio to my left, we have APNU candidate contesting constituency number 3, Georgetown, Dr. Astell Collins. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
To my right, we have AFC candidate contesting constituency number 6, who is not here with us as yet. However, if he's here, he'll join us later on in the program. And that would be Mr. Devinja Sukraj. Then we have independent candidate contesting constituency number 1, Georgetown, Mr. Jai Narayan Singh.
Hi, Mia.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And independent candidate as well contesting constituency number 5, Georgetown, Mr. James Hermanstein.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, welcome. Viewers, I will ask each of our guests to give an introduction of themselves to make you aware of who they are and to tell us what their contributions to their respective constituency are. However, we'll start with an introduction, and we'll start with you, Mr. Hermanstein.
My name is James Hermanstein, and I live at 323 Section A, South Liliendal, or which is commonly known as Ayfield Sophia.
Hi, my name is Jai Narayan Singh. I'm contesting constituency 1, which consists of Albertown, Queenstown, North, South Cummingsburg, Kingston, East, West, Tiger Bay, Nonpareil, a huge area. Well, I was involved in a lot of community projects. My recent one was being involved in the leadership of MAPM, Movement Against Parking Meters, where we stopped that dead in its tracks, hopefully for a long time. I have been involved, I've lived in this constituency for 48 years, all of my life, and I hope I get elected to serve in that community from November 12th.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Collins.
Hi, my name is Astell Collins. I'm contesting constituency 3, which is Camerville, Northeast, Northwest, Prashad Nagar, Bellew Springs, Bellew Gardens, and currently working at the Office of the President under Minister Harman, and I am here to have the opportunity to serve Camerville and its environment. Yes.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hermanstein, we'll give you the opportunity to say what areas come under your constituency.
Yes, constituency 5 consists of Gaisuku Gardens, Bellew Village, North and South Sophia, North Patterson, North Patterson, Plum Park, Farmers Field, Block X Lillandar or A Field Sophia, Patterson or B Field Sophia. Now, that's a very large constituency as well, but I intend to help, if I get elected, to develop all those areas. We have a non-governmental group which is based at A Field Sophia, Block X Lillandar, where we have already done some voluntary works. One of the main works we did there, which stands out, is building a 35 feet by 4 feet concrete walkway bridge. And that bridge was finished in July. We, through the group's effort, and if being elected on the council, will be able to do much more other than Block X Lillandar, where we are from, where the group is based. We'll be able to stretch out to the other communities through being on the local council, city council. I am asking that people take note that local government elections shouldn't be a political one or politically based, but should be people from the constituency choose people who they recognize will be able to do development in our community.
Thank you, Mr. Hermanstein. And we'll now go into our question and answer segment and give these gentlemen the opportunity to tell you what their plans, aspirations, whatever it is they have planned for their constituency. As a first-time contender, what inspired you to contest in the local government elections? We'll start with you, Mr. Collins.
I was actually asked by one of the residents in Campbellville, Don Primo, because I've lived in South Africa, served in South Africa for 4 years, 6 months, received South Africa's highest national youth award, which ranked me as one of the most influential youth as a non-citizen. And then my mentor, Dr. Miles Monroe, asked me to return to Ghana to contribute. So I've been doing that. And currently I've done close to 700 seminars and speaking engagements.
Very nice.
And so when this came up, she said, Astell, you just have to do it. So I am here somewhat as a reluctant leader, but nevertheless, I am here to serve. I have been serving and would love the opportunity to serve. So I think that not everything that counts can be counted. Everything that is counted counts. So I believe that even though I would have served before, given the opportunity now, you can affect policies, because there's one thing to actually do leadership development seminars. It's another thing to affect people's lives by sitting on a council that can actually affect your livelihood. So I think that this is simply for me an opportunity to serve. So it's my response to a request by a resident.
Thank you very much. Mr. Hermanstein, will go with you as a first-time contender. What inspired you to contest in the local government elections?
Most of the communities in Constituency 5 existed over 30-something years. And the deplorable conditions of those communities, it's terrible. It puts a passion in my heart to know that in '92, when we went in there as pioneers when we took up those lands, we used to come together as small groups. We used to clean those main canals, and we cleaned dams and everything. And when we look at what exists now, I am saying, maybe you got a little development in terms of main roads and lights, and I wouldn't even count potable water, because we still have to go low down to get water, and we don't get it all day. It gives me, to me it's worse now than then with the situation. You have high vegetations in some of those canals, 15 feet high. The dams are unsafe to walk on because of high vegetation. Now, because I was a pioneer back in those days when we got our land, it left a burning desire, passion to see that place develop. And that is why we have established this non-governmental group in our area. And we started doing some works to enhance development in our community. Residents ask, just like my brother across there, that seeing that the works we have done through the efforts of me, the president of that group, they asked me to run for the constituency because they have not seen anybody else who was supposed to do work did anything. So they requested that I run, and that's why I'm running, because I want to see development in our community. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. And Mr. Singh.
The question again?
The question again, as a first-time contender, what inspired you to contest the local government elections?
Inspiration. Where does inspiration come from? I've sat in the visitors gallery in City Hall during statutory meetings for the last 3 to 4 years. I'm not very happy with what happens in there. You see, we have a particular system where there are 15 first past the post and 15 proportional representation that parties receive. So we're stuck with 15 councillors who are not there at the behest of the people. They're there to serve their party. Unfortunately, with that situation, a lot of things do not get done. They get rubber stamped. Party directives are sent to the benefit of the party for power struggles, for all this political nonsense that we've been going through for such a long time. So we have 15 elected councillors and 15 PR councillors. I was inspired to be an independent after we had successfully with Movement Against Parking Meters, MAPM. Asked around and I spoke with the incumbent, Lionel Jaikaran, and he indicated to me that he would not be seeking re-election. So I then asked around and says, well, who's going to do this? We need representation. The people need representation. And they says, well, buddy, what are you talking about? It's you. You were the one out there with the placard. You were the one who decided what are you talking about.
Walking around to ask.
So, I mean, yeah, it's sort of in my DNA too. My father was a minister of local government back in the 60s and stuff. So it's in the genealogy, it's there. And ultimately I decided, well, why not? Why not me? I mean, if you want to do something, do it yourself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And you have resided in your communities for a number of years. Are you satisfied with the development thus far? And what would you do differently? Can we start with you, Mr. Hermanstein?
No, to be honest, I'm not satisfied. One of the common, when I walk around all these communities recently, one of the common problem we have there is drainage and irrigation. Soon as the rain falls for an hour or two, most places are flooded. Right now in this very dry weather, when I walk through some streets in Patterson or Beefield, some yards have water on them right now. So one of the things I would like to see done, if I'm elected on the council, is to work hard to get to see drainage, some of the drainage problems, or all of it if possible, get resolved. The other thing too is the deplorable conditions, very deplorable conditions, I must emphasize, in almost all of those little cross streets. Some of them are like dams right now. And it is causing security problems in that CARS doesn't want to go in there. CARS doesn't want to go in there. The other day, a couple of months back, 2 months back, or 3, there was a young lady came from work, and it was about, let's say, 7, 8 o'clock, and because the streets were bad, she was put on the main road to walk in. And when she walked in, there was no street lights. Some part of it, there was no street lights through the street. And she was robbed. Young girl started working a couple months ago, finished school, and got robbed of her cell phone and her money. Her pay pocket was gone. So the deplorable conditions of the streets are one of the other things I will seek to get done. The other thing is the high vegetations on the dams and canals. Literally, you have over 15 feet of moko and other vegetations on some of those canals and dams, and it is dangerous for people to walk through those places.
Okay.
So those are some of the things I would like to see done.
You mentioned before that a group of you used to clean that area.
Yes.
What happened? Why is it that you guys stopped?
No, we didn't actually stop. For the matter of fact, we recently, just before, about 2 months back, we had the core group along with 1 or 2 other residents from infrastructure. We did the Eastern Dam. So it's not that we stopped. Mm-hmm. It's just that because of this election period, the campaign, we ceased a bit because of the campaign and this election period. Now, one of the challenges we have as a non-governmental group is finance. And what I'm requesting, if the government, central government, or we have monies from city council to give to us or supply to the group, we'll be able to carry out some of these works more. But we don't have money. We are a non-governmental group. Okay. And we depend on donations. And we depend on voluntary work. And you know, nowadays people are saying, I ain't getting paid. Why would I work?
Where and when and how?
Yeah. It's hard,
getting paid expenses and stuff that day.
But but I'm a very persistent person. I don't give up. And I always go to the lengths to see things done and get things done in our community first.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr. Singh, what would you do differently?
What would I do differently? Oh, I thought you were referring if any development has happened. Oh, what would I do?
Well, that also, if you can mention.
Yeah, well, it's nothing. Nothing has been really done. We tend to live in a archaic system whereas our zoning laws haven't been looked at since 1946.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it hasn't been amended. And in those 72 years, obviously, Georgetown has changed tremendously.
Absolutely.
We now import 10,000 cars a year into the country.
Makes me want to move out of Georgetown.
Yeah. So there's a reason they wanted to reevaluate housing and businesses, and you really can't do that unless you look at zoning first, because you put in the cart before the horse. There are a lot of things to do for development. What has not been done, unfortunately, is that 2 of the main drainage canals for Georgetown, the Lamha Street Trencher Canal, as well as the Church Street Trencher Canal, those should have been concretized by some government over the last 20, 30 years, however. That has not been looked at. These collection pools are becoming shallower and thinner.
Yes.
Because of the silt, because of vegetation. We're a tropical country. I mean, it's expected. I mean, on the way to this interview, driving up Church Street, all the way from St. John Road all the way down to Border, is a mat of grass. So when rains start in 3 to 4 weeks, I don't know what will happen. That's a main drainage canal for Georgetown. Yes. Not just constituency 1, the entire Georgetown. There are 3. One in South Road, Crow Street, the Church Street Canal, and Lamahal Street Canal. Those 3 drain Georgetown, and if one is blocked, well, then the others take the overflow, and there's nothing done there. Which leads to an interesting point that people might think I'm a bit nuts. But
think,
yeah. No, I propose to have some hybrid system for constituency 1 and even for the larger city where we buy grass. You know, there are a lot of people that don't work or residents. You know, you set a figure of say $10, $15 a pound of grass. You cut your grass. You go in the trench. You bring the grass out. I'll buy it. I'll tell you, 2 years ago, when they had the big $500 million cleanup of Georgetown, I think the average cost per square foot of cleaning grass was $224. Now a pound of grass is like 5 square feet, so $20. Set a figure. It sounds crazy, but it could actually work.
It's
Have a central
interesting.
collecting area where the city council, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. You don't have to
Yes.
earn that dollar. You save it instead of earning it.
Yes.
So, I mean, we have a lot of, for lack of a better word, junkies or people out of work or whatever. Residents, bring me 100 pounds of grass, I give you $2,000.
But what do you do with it? What do you do with the grass
Well,
when they
what
bring
do
it
we
to
do
you?
with it now?
Build the yards?
We could make compost, we could use it as fertilizer. There's so many different things.
Yeah, because I reuse my grass.
Right.
They
it-
don't,
it get dry,
when they
it get-
weed the
it
yard.
becomes mulch,
Exactly.
It could, mix it in with manures, all kinds of things.
My
it
yard
could
is
done.
pretty low, so
So
what I
then we
do...
can even make dollars back on this. So
Exactly.
these are things that we need to look at. We need to think outside the box.
You're going differently for real.
Yeah, well, I would buy grass and legit grass, not the other kind of grass.
Oh!
Although we should be actually be cultivating that for sales to Canada otherwise, but that's a different program altogether.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have a few ideas and things. What I do, if you're given the time, what needs to be done in constituency 1, I really do believe, is we have a lot of play parks that have been neglected. And unfortunately in Guyana, at 5:45, sports done. Because light gone, done. No, that has to be looked
Yeah,
at.
no.
In terms of getting the communities back out and together, obviously you have to get the city constable and the Guyana police force to patrol and stuff and keep people safe.
I think we have enough.
I think we should need some more.
We should need some more.
Yeah. But those areas need to be lit. We need to get our youth especially. Sports should not be finished at 5:45, 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Kids want to play, they go home, do their homework, then they can come out 6:37 and play an hour of sport or just intermingle or have a nice communal place to
Absolutely.
meet and greet and laugh and gaff or whatever till 8:39. And, those are things that need to be looked at. I think it's very important.
Yeah, I'm very passionate about sports as well, so I would agree with you
I am also.
100% on that one, especially social.
I mean, we have parade ground.
Connection.
That's a huge area that's, just a little basketball court and the rest is nothing.
And they only
It's
read a
becoming
part of that
overgrown.
down. Yeah, they actually read a part down that they want to use, and then when they're done,
That's correct.
it's gone. So we need to, and I had to ask.
We need to light that area up.
Yeah, I had asked for it to be
We
adopted.
have a
in-
lot of investors coming into Guyana, so maybe we should ask, those investors who would seek to benefit from our country's resources to, give back in some way.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Singh.
You're welcome.
Mr. Collins, what would you do differently in your area?
Unfortunately, our councillor passed away.
Oh, sorry to hear.
That was Garrett Jr. And Junior Garrett rather.
Yes.
And therefore the neglect is evident. So to say that there has been no improvement would be as a result of his passing.
But was there anybody there to step up?
No, I think once the person passes, that's
Well, there's
it.
supposed to be a by-election, but one
There
wasn't
wasn't.
done.
Correct. So we were without representation.
Well, you
But
still
two
have
councillors
two.
actually, yes.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
the neglect is there. I think it's a civil or a civic right to have lights and proper drainage. So I would not even mention that, but I think we need as a people to evolve, or even the political landscape we have to have some form of political evolution where we can as a people come together. For example, it was yesterday, I was approached by, I believe it's the sister of the former president's ex-wife.
Okay.
Vashni's sister. So she said, when I vote for you, all I want is my drain to be cleaned. I said, you don't have to wait to put me or vote for me. I will do it. So this morning I got up very early and I spoke to 2 guys last evening and we cleaned it today.
Very nice, congratulations.
So those are things I believe as a people, as a community, you don't have to be in a position of power. But we can, as human beings, give back, serve. And that's why I applaud the current administration, is that you're given an opportunity for the ordinary man, and the gentleman over there said he wants to remain an ordinary man who serves the community. And I think it is applaudable that the local government engine has been reactivated, having been dormant. There is a resurrection now of interest where the ordinary citizens, I don't like to use the word ordinary, where the citizens of Guyana can literally take part in the activities or the political activities of the land. And I believe that I want to create or cultivate a shift in consciousness where we when you see an issue, and that's applaudable that you would have actually formed a group, a community or a non-governmental organization that takes care of the community. And that is what the local government engine aspires to do. It is whereby you're in a structured environment, but it is just for those who are concerned with the affairs of the community to participate. So I don't think we need to complicate what is supposed to be simple. However, we should cultivate that consciousness where Guyanese can literally come together and address the concerns and the needs of the citizens in the society or in the community. So I believe that what I would do is the lights to have a structured maintenance, because that's another thing to be clean up. There's always this drive to do and you start. But what happens to maintenance? I think we're poor when it comes to maintaining what has been done. So I think a structure has to be put in place where there's and even you can actually have, I think in Saramo, they have a business model where the resident of the community owns the business. There's a thing called, I think it's Saramo Eco Lodge. So on a rotational basis, like everybody in the community gets to work at the guest house. So likewise, you can have a group of young people or the youth, you engage them who are not gainfully employed, and they can have a rotational system whereby they can actually participate in cleaning of the community, where the residents of the community can actually pay for that to happen. Beyond that, I want to look at single parents, whereby we can actually develop a clothing bank as well as a food bank, where people who have resources can give to those who do not have. When I was the chairman of the board of directors for Habitat for Humanity, and it was the 50th anniversary, we had the 50 for the 50th project, where the citizens who had access to resources made it available for those who do not have. So, and it's simple things. You repair the back step, and that transforms somebody's life.
Absolutely.
You repair the roof, or you put on an extra room or something, but it's basic things where I believe that the spirit of humanity can be harnessed, cultivated, and we can transform our nation. I think the views that are upon Guyana now gives us the opportunity to express our best selves. And I think this political atmosphere that we're in should not be toxic. People, the young people, should breathe a breath of fresh air, whereby when they see this breed of leadership coming forward, that we can be an example of what is possible in Guyana.
Thank you very much. And before we go to a break, we want to ask you, gentlemen, as Guyana moves to a green economy, what is your top priority in transforming your community? I'll start with you, Mrs. Singh. I see you smiling, so I think you're ready to answer that question.
I told you I'll buy your grass. No, yeah, as we it's a
top
great
priority. Yes.
My top priority. And this is part of my general project. I want to take one stretch of a couple of blocks, entire street perhaps, in my constituency, and enforce every law applicable. You go and pee on a lantern post, I apply the law, indecent exposure. You litter, you get, that is, we break so many laws with impunity. We chuck bones, we chuck a box, we don't even think of what we're doing.
Yes.
You drink your Astell, you throw it in the trench. I mean, we don't even think of what we're doing. I have been speaking with Mr. Walter Ryan, Director of Waste, and he has a recycling project he is thinking about. Obviously, machinery needs to be gotten. He's been talking to the Ministry of Public Infrastructure, whereas there's a huge worldwide push where you recycle plastic and build roads with it.
Yes.
So he's been looking at that. I've been talking to him. So when I'm buying my grass, I'll buy plastic too.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'm buying everything at reduced prices.
You wouldn't be able
but
to
I
get
want to make
plastic from
one
me.
stretch, one block,
Yes.
absolutely laws. And what I would do after that, hopefully, which will be successful, is then you go move it on to the other street, and then to the other.
Catches on.
So it catches on all the way across the line. It'll take some time, but you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but I like the recycling project. My children saw something on Facebook where they made a plate out of some type of plastic, whether it's plastic plate or something, and plastic bottles, where they slashed them in half, but in a slant, and they glued like 3 of them on the
and
plate.
you make like pencil
And
holders.
they make pencil holders.
Beautiful,
So
yeah. And you spray
they're
paint it and
anxious to
stuff,
get
yeah.
that done. However, I don't buy sodas and stuff, so I have to go out looking for plastic
There's
bottles.
plenty in the trenches. If you could venture there.
I walk with bleach.
No, it is wonderful. I mean, I was talking to Walter at the same time. We planned because a lot of my area has a lot of businesses.
Okay.
So single-use plastic, I will be pushing with him to have that banned. You know,
Okay.
take your own bag to the supermarket. Be a responsible citizen. You know, do the right things. We're some feet below sea level. If we and with global warming, if it's real or not,
Okay.
we are in a direct threat. So let's do the right things and move on from there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Hammerstein, what is your top priority?
Well, our group have a vision. Some of those dams, those reserves that are being occupied illegally, when they're gone, we would like to lease the dams and plant cash crops. The residents would be benefited quite a lot from, those cash crop products, because rather than going to the market in town or, for a field, they could get their own greens right there and sell it.
Okay.
The other thing too is that in my yard, my home there, I am already recycling all the wood and all the grass. I cut them up and pack them up, and when they turn to dust, I carry them back in my yard.
Where do you live again?
I'll come and steal some.
I'm coming to get mine done.
Yeah, I am living at.
No, it's okay, Mr. I was just kidding.
Yes, I. If you come in my yard, I have most of the fruit trees. I have a pear tree right now. I've got pears in it. I've got oranges. I've got most of the fruits in my
You
yard.
better give me the address for it.
I was just about to say.
I got bananas in my. What I'm saying is that my vegetation that I cut and so on, I pack it up. When it turn into compost and turn into manure, I put it back into my yard. And that's what I'll advise
Very nice.
everybody in that area, because that area is filled with grasses and this kind of stuff. And rather than cut it and burn it or get it on the roadside wastefully, you use it back.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hammerstein.
My constituency is blessed with a reserve. And there are residents who have already started to do planting cash crops.
That's great.
So that will be encouraged. And not only the cash crops on the government's reserve, but there is also, we have parapets, or like not dams, but we have fields that can be developed in play parks and place for the elderly to walk. And the kids can actually come and play and so forth. So it's how do we regularize and have a structured, and another thing on top of that, you do not want to be a counselor who is just your ideas. I want to have a team of residents who can actually advise. Every month we should have a meeting
Absolutely.
of residents, and even if you cannot make the meeting, we have a space there at Campton. We have not only the campaign office, but it would be the office for the council, whereby the resident can, when they cannot make meetings, they can, if they have an issue or suggestions, they can actually drop a letter or a note. So whatever you think that needs to be addressed, will be heard. So you want to have a structure in place where the residents have a voice. And I would just be one who represents the voice of the people, or give voice to what their concerns are. So I believe the priority will come from the people. So to say I will do X, Y, and Z, I don't want to seem insincere, but I rather would be consulting with the people to know what is their priority. Because I might say drainage, but for them it might be lights, it might be, the regularization of the government's parapet or the dam. So you want to hear from the people. What issues would you like to see addressed first? So that's the way I would deal with that.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Article 7-1 of the Constitution states that local government is a vital aspect of the democracy and shall be organized so as to involve as many people as possible in the task of managing and developing the communities in which they live. For this purpose, the said Article 71 of the Constitution also states that Parliament shall provide for a countrywide system of local government through the establishment of organs of local democratic powers as an integral part of the political organization of the state. In compliance with Article 71 of the Constitution, 71 local authority areas comprising of 9 municipalities or towns and 62 neighborhood democratic council NDCs have been established in Guyana. Two primary objectives of local government are: one, to enable democratic local decision making and action by and on behalf of communities, and two, promote the social, economic, environmental and cultural well-being of communities. We'll now take a break. We'll be back shortly.
The mornings just aren't the same without Guyana Today. Weekdays on NCN at 7 hours.
7 political parties, 21 voluntary groups, 33 independent candidates, all vying to be councillors to represent their constituencies. Let's Get Local on NCN, hear what their plans are for you. Let's Get Local, Mondays and Fridays at 20 hours 5 on NCN television, and a rebroadcast on the Voice of Guyana 102.5 on Wednesdays and Fridays at 21 hours on NCN radio.
Sports on Tuesday has got you covered. The NTN Sport team slows it down to give you a panoramic view of our athletes, administrators, and policies that affect sports in our country. From features to rules of the game, highlights, and in-depth discussions. So join us every Tuesday night at 9 p.m. on NCN, where we make sport our business.
You're still tuned to Let's Get Local on NCN television. There will be a rebroadcast of this program on NCN radio, the Voice of Guyana, 102.5 and 97.1 on the FM band and 560 on the AM band. Thank you for staying with us. I'll now ask our guests, because we seem to be running out of time since we're having so much fun, to answer a few more questions before we wrap up the program. And don't forget, you can join this program every Monday and every Friday at 8:05 and on radio at various times in the evening. So, gentlemen, let's get back to questioning because time seems to be going so fast. How do you plan to involve residents or have residents' participation in your community? We'll start with you, Mr. Collins.
Surprisingly, I think we already have that down pat. The residents are already involved. You find that even with the street lights, there are certain residents who had already bought street lights. There are certain residents who have already done works in terms of keeping their carpets clean. So their involvement is already there. I think what was lacking was the level of guidance and the vision for the entire community, because we operated in silos. I keep my carpet, you keep yours. But where are we going as a community as a whole? What is the overall vision? And I think that is what the council ought to provide an opportunity for us to actually concretize a specific vision and a direction. You were reading the just now before we go to break, and that is why I constantly said we need to applaud the current administration for actually creating the opportunity for us to participate in what is legal and what is seeming to be the democratic process. Allow me to say a thought whereby sometimes people hold a core belief that is very strong, and when they are presented with evidence that work against that belief, the new evidence cannot be accepted. It would create a feeling that is extremely uncomfortable called cognitive dissonance, and because it is so important to protect that belief, they will rationalize, ignore, and even deny anything that doesn't fit with that belief. I believe that we are in a dispensation now where there is a convergence of not only ideas but aspirations, where people now are more engaged politically. You find even on social media, there's a new breed of a new generation that wants to know you know, and even the participation in this local government election, I was on a panel where there's a 22-year-old girl. And that thing struck me because I am 36.